The findings of the second edition of the Mastercard Index of Women Entrepreneurs shows that female entrepreneurs in developing countries are driven by resilience, determination, and a desire to provide for their families. Now, while South Africa has made a bit of progress in reducing the gender bias for women engaging in early-stage entrepreneurial activities, the number of female business owners is still fairly small. Angelo Coppola went to find out why.
So what's holding those female entrepreneurs back from developing to their full potential, both in South Africa and continentally?
Potentially what's not there so much is the public and private programs to support them, to build the business skills, to build the financial literacy. So it's really about putting that in place. There are countries where potentially less opportunity driven and more kind of needs driven, places like Uganda and Ghana, where just the sheer grit of female entrepreneurs kind of spurs business opportunities and makes things happen and potentially more successfully.
Now let's look at South Africa. What's got to happen here to change that balance, to get more women involved in entrepreneurial activities?
So what we need to try and do is we need to have more females getting into starting up businesses. So there are obviously players like Junior Achievement, who we work with, who actually get behind and support and give some financial assistance to building out the entrepreneurial businesses. What's possibly also required is a government stance.
South Africa slid 2 places in this index of yours in terms of supporting cultural and entrepreneurial conditions. What are the cultural challenges facing female entrepreneurs here?
There's obviously there's a gender bias, and there's no doubt that we see that globally. You know, when you see a female maybe starting a business, there tends to be that gender bias which creeps through. And even New Zealand, which is #1 in the index, also has that gender bias coming through. I think it's something which needs to be led on at the most senior level, both within organizations and also at a government level.
Now, without generalizing, it does seem from the survey results and just generally that women tend to be a little bit more cautious about getting into entrepreneurial activities. What's your survey showing you about that?
There are countries in the world where women have adopted a more confident persona, and that's something which I think we need to kind of actively encourage. There's no reason why you can't put your hand up and go for it. And I think that's what I admire in what I see in the survey is that sheer grit that you hear about in countries like Uganda, where it's a need-based, and so, you know, the intention is there, but also they make it happen because they need to.